Hello. Hi.
I like coffee with my coffee. I'm a no bullshit kind of girl. No room for creamer or that vanilla stuff either. I need something real.
Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isabel, and you might hate me after this video, which is okay. I made my peace with it. Today we're having a real talk about why you're not achieving your reading goals and why people do not read. Reading is among the 10 more common New Year's resolutions. Yet, it is one of the most uncommon hobbies, and like any other resolution done at midnight, it seems that it's doomed to failure. But why? Why do people do not read? Let's just talk numbers first, shall we? To ground you a little bit more of where are you standing, if you are one of those people who want to read more this year but just really don't know how. First, the USA. According to the Pew Research Center, in the US, 27% of the adults declared that they have not read a book in any format this past year. Studies have shown that even when there are more resources now available in the internet, the last 10 years show a decrease in reading habits. But those are the non-readers at all. Let's see which one are the readers that remain. Well, 74% of reading adults declared to only have read a book in 2018. Coming up as the majority of the readers in the US reading between 4 to 6 books a year. The majority of those people are women, and the average reading woman reads between 12 and 14 books a year compared to the 8 to 10 books a man reads. Contrary to what the people think, in the US, the majority of readers are described as young readers, with the ages ranging between 18 to 39 years old. Senior citizens do not read, and the average American reads 7 to 10 minutes a day. Also, there's definitely a correlation between income, education, gender, socioeconomic background reasons, and race when it comes to readers in the US, showing that white college female graduates and CEOs turn out to be the most avid readers, reading between 4 to 6 books a month. If you are from Mexico, here are the stats. In 2020, the National Institute of Statistics and Geography reported that in the last 5 years, the number of readers have gone down in Mexico. Mexicans read approximately 3.4 books a year, with men being a little bit ahead with 3.7 books a year, and women a little bit behind with 3.2 books a year. However, there is a difference in those reading materials because 43.8% of women stated that they read a book in the last 12 months, and 34.6% stated that they read magazines. These numbers are higher than the ones that men reported due to how 4 in every 10 men and 2 out of every 10 women read newspapers. This means that even when men read a little bit more than women, they often read newspapers and news media with the objective of getting information. And when women read a little bit less than men, they do it for entertainment purposes and they read novels. This study also reports that there's an increase in digital reading from 7.3% in 2016 to 12.3% in 2020, which is great. And more importantly, the reasons why the Mexican population do not read are the following: lack of time, lack of interest, lack of motivation, and a dislike for reading. With those reasons in mind, let's go over the reasons why you always fail after saying that your New Year's resolution is to read more. And let's see if there's a correlation. Hi, sorry if the lighting is a little bit off. My camera died, so it's a little bit later in the afternoon. But it's fine, we reheated our tea and we're here to talk about it. One of the main reasons why you're not achieving your reading goals is because you probably are putting unrealistic expectations of what reading is and what reading is going to bring to your life. And I'm sure that you can make the research on your own of the various benefits that reading can have in your life, especially if you're an adult. But I'm here to tell you that it's not going to automatically make you smarter, better, or more interesting to people. That is not how reading works. Reading is a hobby like any other hobby. And not because you occasionally like going to the gym, it means that you're a professional athlete or something like that. And depending on what you read, the types of reflections you afterwards, and just the types of people that you surrounded yourself with is the outcome of how people are gonna look at you. For example, for some people, you might be the most interesting person in the planet because you have a wild knowledge about Celtic culture. But for others, you're just gonna be very weird. As any longtime reader can tell you, reading doesn't make you the popular kid in the block. It is not something that people see as cool. So if what you're looking for is validation from your peers, reading is not it. It is weird because we often think of reading as widely accepted as something good to do. But if you're looking for that validation or belongingness into a certain group, I don't think that's gonna be enough to carry you through your journey into becoming a reader if you're not one already. If you want to read more, do it because you're interested in it, honestly. Do it because you want to learn about a certain topic, because you absolutely do not need to start with fiction. Maybe if you are interested in architecture or design or economics, history, whatever you're interested in or your career might be, you can look for books into those areas that you are already interested in and start your reading habit from there. Or if you already know that you like certain type of fiction, like fantasy, romance, historical fiction, then you can totally start from there and not from what you think that is gonna make you more accepted by people. This is not to say that reading is useless or that you shouldn't read or that has no benefits at all, because that's totally wrong. I'm saying that if you're gonna incorporate reading into your life and you're gonna work on it, you need to work on it because of you, not because you want other people to see you as cool. That's not gonna last. Or maybe you fail every year because you say, well, I would like to read more, but I have no time. This is honestly one of the ones that gets me the most frustrated and angry, because when someone gives you that I have no time excuse, is because it means I don't want to. Like, I say I have no time to exercise. I totally have time, I just don't want to. That's the same thing with reading. You don't want to, cut the crap. Like, the reality is that no one has time. People make time for whatever they want to do. If you want to eat healthy, you have to make time to go to the grocery store and buy the ingredients that you're going to use for the week. You have maybe to go to a nutritionist to give you meal plans. Or maybe you have to put out time to cook for yourself instead of buying things on the go. And that's how it works. If you want to do this type of things, or you want to acquire a new skill, you need to work for it and put time aside. No one has just infinite amounts of time. And honestly, very busy people make time for having a lunch with a friend, for watching a movie once in a while, or a show that they're interested, or they make time to do a lot of laundry, to wash their dishes, to do things that are not usually fun, but they're a need. You that are watching this video, you're taking time from your day to watch YouTube videos. And if you are part of the I have no time gang, maybe evaluate why are you putting this as an excuse, because that's what it is. Evaluate why are you not willing to move things around in your schedule to make this change in your life. Maybe it is because you think of reading as a passive activity that I have often heard. People who are used to being very productive and see that type of productiveness, they might say, well, instead of reading, I could be cleaning my house and my house will be spotless. Or instead of reading, I could go for a run and I could improve my physical wellness. And reading, the improvement of reading, it takes some time for you to see it. It takes some time for you to build vocabulary, to build a love and pleasure when you read, to build a need for it. When I don't read, when I stop reading for intervals of days, I feel like I need something, but that is not built from one day to the other. So you might want to reevaluate if you are not reading because you cannot see what you're getting in return, and you see it as a very passive form of entertainment. If that is the case, you can also see that you probably do other passive forms of entertainment. As I said, scrolling through social media, watching YouTube videos, listening to music. Those are things that are kind of passive and you only do them for pleasure. So it will be very hypocritical of you to keep doing those things but only say no to reading because of that. Or maybe you value audio or other forms of entertainment more than you value reading. And that could be because you have a bad previous experience with reading. Like most of us, the educational system has failed us, and our experiences in school while reading were poorly. But think that maybe that bad experience was an experience that came from obligation, because you needed to pass an exam, to do a project, to get a grade on it, because you didn't pick the book that you were reading, because maybe it wasn't to your level and capacities, or maybe it wasn't up to your interest, or maybe your professor didn't have the strategies to make you engage with the book as you could have, and it was just, we need to make this person read, but we don't care about what they thought about it, and they don't care about your opinions. They care about implementing models and opinions into your brain. Like, we all had those kind of reading obligations at school that were seen as total dreads for us, but that doesn't mean that reading for fun is going to be the same way. First of all, there's no agenda, there is no deadline, and there is no one behind you telling you what to do or what to think. And that's one of the primary reasons why you as an adult should read, because you need to engage in critical thinking on your own. If it's in pieces of fiction, that's fine, because that's just going to be a training for you to go outside and critically analyze what's going around you, in your country, in your community, in your family. You also might say that you don't have time because you have a job, you have a family, you have a relationship, you go to school, you, I don't know, exercise, whatever you do. Just as you give your body things to nurture, and you know that there are things that you got to do, like drinking water, eating healthy, moving around, well, know that your brain also needs exercising. I know a lot of people that the only moments that they have in their day for engaging in books are when they do the dishes, when they have their lunch breaks, when they're driving to their jobs, when they're folding laundry. And those are the moments when they open their audiobooks and they unwind from the mechanicals of their boring lives. And I feel like the whole "I have no time" makes me angry, or it rubs me the wrong way, because it sounds as if you have no agency in your life. It sounds as if you're trapped in your life and you take no decisions and you cannot move things around. It sounds also as a very comfortable excuse to get out of something. Instead, I invite you to realize that you do have agency and you're the mastermind behind your whole life. You can plan around it. See, if something is happening, if something is getting done, it's because you're actively behind it, making it happen. So instead of lying to yourself and telling you, oh, if I have free time, I will do all of these things, maybe you can actively choose to be the person you want to be, even with your busy schedule. Or not. Maybe tell yourself the truth and be like, it is not that I don't have time for it, it's just that I don't want to do it. And when someone asks you, why don't you read? Just say that, I don't want to do that. I don't make time for it. There are CEOs who are active readers. There are busy working moms who are devouring books right now. And there are athletes who listen to books while they work out, and they do like the double mind and body workout. Just have some agency and authority over your own life. And if you take the decision of not reading, just say that it's because you take the decision of not doing it, not because someone is working against you. Moreover, you fail your reading goals because you feel intimidated. That is a feeling that I often share. As a beginner, you are with all your energy because you want to read 100 books this year, and it doesn't matter that you haven't read one in years, you're gonna do it, right? So you open your first book and you picked a good book, because you often feel like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to read good literature, not whatever. So you pick this good book and you're 15 pages in, and it's 800 pages of Russian literature that you don't understand and you don't like and you're not going to finish. Then you bravely are going to close your book and say the book is boring and that reading is boring. The thing is that you were not prepared for this book. As I said, you're probably not even interested in the novel as it is. You just pick it up because you thought that you had to read something good, and this is always in the list of best works of literature. so you picked it up, and that's not how it works. All of that is just bullshit that you get ingrained and you associate with reading. Instead of going that route, you can start with whatever you feel inclined to read. You also have the very popular, "I'm not much of a reader" excuse. And that is why you do not achieve your New Year's resolutions. The thing is, no one is born being a reader, not even me, which is a shocker that I did not come up with of a womb with Shakespeare's sonnets under my arm. No one is born being a reader. You become a reader. And honestly, if you hang out with kids, you know that they genuinely love books. Since they're babies, you give them books with images and textures, and they love to listen to stories, but somewhere along the way, you lose that. Because you get ingrained with all these ideologies that go around reading. And you think it's boring, you think it's difficult, you think it's for a certain kind of people that you're not, and that's why you don't do it. Like everything, you need to come up with systems and make habits for them to continue in your life. You know, 50% of the adult population in the US are unable to read a book at the 8th grade level. This level is often referred as intermediate, and some books shelved as 8th grade readings are like the Hunger Games and the Divergent series, which are largely part of the young adult reading category. As I said before, the majority of people feel like they have to read something that is good, that is widely respected, that it forms part of literature. But the thing is, if you're part of that 50% and you're a beginner, you're not even ready for those books. You're not even going to enjoy them. But the young adult category is often seen as trashy novels that are not worth it. You see what we have here? Those are the novels that you should be reading because those are the ones on your level. And the only way to escalate levels is to read and read and read and read more. Try to run a marathon when you have no experience and when you have not trained at all. You're gonna die. If you're not a reader, you can get there. It's fine, you just need to start. The obstacle that I feel is the most legitimate one and that I encounter often, so I might be biased about that, is the economical factor. And you're not reading maybe because of this thing, and you might be misguided of the sources that you can go to get literature. I am not under the pretension that books are not a commodity, that a lot of people see them as a symbol of status, that are luxury. And there's a big correlation with income and reading in several countries. However, if you are like me, broke and in debt, but also in love with reading, there are plenty of sources that you can go to get free books. First of all, public libraries. You just need to get a library card. They're often free. Some of them you have to pay like a fee for the card, like $1 or something. And then there are apps that you can sync that and get books for free in all your devices. I use Libby since July of 2020, and since then I have not bought or paid for a book. You do not have to pay. You might have to train your other skills like being more creative, flexible, and patient if you are doing a service like a library. But you can always look for Project Gutenberg and books without copyright and books which are just free because the authors wanted them to be free and they're just floating in the internet, which are from sites that are free and legal. Also, if you already pay for subscriptions like Amazon Prime, there you can get Prime Classics for free even if you don't have a Kindle device. It could just go to the app on your phone. And if you're already paying for it, it's a service that you are paying for and not using. Okay, after seeing those obstacles, we can see that the reasons that the people in the US and in Mexico gave to researchers of why they don't read align to the reasons why you don't read or why you don't achieve your reading goals. So what can you do? You already heard the statistics. I already gave you a lecture of how all your obstacles and of how all your reasons are just excuses. I've been mean to you. What can you do about it? Well, I am not making this video to scare you, to make you feel bad, to discourage you at all. What I want to give you is a reality check and telling you that you're not alone. If you're not reading, that's one of the most common problems that you might have in your life. This is why I brought these stats to you. So you can see how you are represented by those numbers, that you are part of these statistics, either if you read books or not. Do you really want to continue being part of an uncritical mass that just goes with what the TV and the newspapers tell them? Do you really want to be stuck in your life all the time? You don't want to unwind and go in other stories, experience other feelings? If you want to jump from one side of the scale, I felt important that you needed to listen to all these things to stop bullshitting yourself. If at midnight you declare that you wanted to read more, it's because you know that it's good, because you want to be the type of person that reads, and because you want to change your life. But if you keep feeding yourself all those lies of I don't have time, I don't like it, it's boring, it's too expensive, then you're setting yourself short. You're setting yourself for failure. And just pick another resolution. Pick something easier for you. You do not have to be a reader. No one is going to judge you. It's not like everyone else's is. But then if the idea of giving up this without even trying it conflicts you, then you might be ready to put on the work. I have a video about 10 tips for reading more books that you can totally check. And plenty of other creators on YouTube and Instagram have spelled out their tips and their ways of reading. But in case you don't want to go check that out, and I depressed you enough before, here are some summarized tips. Number 1, build a large list of things that you want to read. It doesn't matter the form, it doesn't matter the length, it doesn't matter what it is about. Just maybe you really enjoyed watching Game of Thrones and you would love to read the books. Add them to your list. Maybe you also really like Pride and Prejudice because everyone likes that movie. Add it to your list. Maybe you also want to read the Harry Potter books. Add them to your list. Maybe you want to read a book about managing your money and your finances because you actually need that type of knowledge. Add it to your list. Just make a very, very big list. And then you're going to have the backup of books. When you finish one, you always have those waiting for you. And those are going to keep you motivated. Number 2, build habits and systems. Use some discipline as if you were trying to work out. Read every day for at least 10 minutes or for 20 pages or a chapter. But try to do it every day, always at the same time, always at the same spot. Like if you have your reading corner, try to make a ritual out of it. You have your cup of tea, maybe you have your notebook, maybe you have your book, and you have a blanket. Make it as enjoyable as you can. Romanticize it as much as you need to. But build the habit, build the system that works for you, and without distractions. No phone, no internet, no television, no music, no other people around you, just you and your book. Number 3, build short, medium, and long-term goals. If you focus on the system that you set up, achieving the goals shouldn't be a problem. It's just going to be something that you eventually reach. If you set the goals with no system, then you are going to be struggling. And those goals could be anything. I know that people say, I want to read 100 books, I want to read 56 books, I want to read 12 books. Doesn't matter the amount of books that you want to read. Remember that if you read more than, 12 a year, you're already doing more than the US population does. Number 4, build yourself up. You are improving yourself in this process. Never forget that. You are doing this because you want to have the pleasure of reading. You are doing this for yourself. You're doing this because you're a person that always reaches his goals, because you want to improve your vocabulary, because you want to expand your horizons, because you like trying new things, whatever. You are doing this as an improvement to your life. So act like it. Own it. Tell people the books you're reading. Talk about them. Talk about the reflections that you're having. It doesn't matter if you don't like the book. You can be like, this character is a bitch, I don't like it. Or it's acting like this, and I don't like it, and I don't agree with it. Or the author does this and writes this in this way. If I were going to do that, I would improve the way it's done. Just talk about it. Be vocal about the journey you're living. Even if people don't know that you have these goals, because you don't have to talk about them with anyone. Reading is a personal thing. They're going to see that you are improving yourself, that you are enjoying your life, And that might inspire them, that might not do anything to them, but at least you're gonna be happier. I mean, it's pretty obvious that my advice is framed with the words build, because building implies work, and work is what you're gonna do. You might not achieve it this year. You might read 10 books of the 12 you want to read this year. If you don't achieve it in a year, it's still fine. You have another one and another one and another one and another one. If you don't like the book that you were reading, you close it, you put it down, and you grab another one. This is gonna take work. You know the numbers, you know your obstacles, you know the lies that you tell yourself, and you know the steps you have to take. Now it's up to you. You have to work for it. If you're gonna work for it, I'm here for you. That is all from me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I know that I'm never this serious, but you need to stop bullshitting yourself. Keep reading, and when you're not, follow me on my social media so we can talk about how much we love reading. And that's all. Thanks. Bye.